Well, there we have it. Chelsea have lost to, what are they, like 18th placed Ipswich Town 2-0. And absolutely demoralising, not going to lie, absolutely demoralised by that. What I think the most frustrating thing for me is it actually felt like we played okay. It was just a lack of gelling within the squad. And that's to be expected when you come in and make, quite a few changes. Jorgensen in goal. Of course, the back line a bit taken over by injuries, but you had João Felix playing, no Sancho, no Pedro Neto, Madueke back in the side, Christopher Nkunku instead of Jackson. And I can't lie, I think all of these changes sounded like ones that a lot of the fans wanted, but ultimately I think probably cost us in this game. A really trying performance. I mean, I'm going to load up the stats for the game because what I found quite frustrating is that we had plenty of shots. It's just that Ipswich took their chances and we didn't. Looking at the game statistics here, 76% possession, 1.99 XG compared to their 0.67. And to me, that just shows, we had 20 shots to their 9. We outshot them. We had more of the ball than them. But the problem is, against these little clubs, when you go a goal down, you're in for a world of pain. Especially a club like Ipswich, where there's plenty of men behind the ball, and then they'll hoof it long to Liam Delap, try and, bit of hold-up play, and offload it someone like Omari Hutchinson, who ended up scoring a very nice goal. Fair play to him. That's just how they're going to play, and you can't begrudge them for it. It was the same against, was it Everton the other week, where we drew there. It's just, you give these clubs a sniff at a victory or a sniff at a draw, and they're going to take it because, that's the way they have to play to stay in the Premier League. So it's a very frustrating one. Looking at all the changes, let's go through the lineup and rate our players. Jorgensen in goal, 6.8. I think he was harshly done on the penalty call. In the modern day, I'm not even sure I can even then say it's a pen. There is just the zero contact. Liam Delap starts going down and there's a slight bit of contact. Nowhere near enough for a penalty. As soon as it happened, I thought, no way is that a pen. Ref gives it. I'm like, okay, VAR, we're seeing the replays. I'm like, sweet, they're going to overturn this. And they don't. So, that's just more pitfalls of, modern football. Disasi on a 6.1. Disasi at right back, I think we really just need to give up on this. I know we've had some injuries and things like that, but now that we've got Gusto back, he played in this game, came off the bench. Reece James back from fitness. It needs to be a case of Gusto starting, Reece James off the bench so that he doesn't get injured. And we actually have a right back because when Disasi plays there, the right-hand side is just non-existent, and that's not really his fault. It's not his job, he should be a centre-back in this team, but when you're sort of forced to play someone like that out wide, it really does kill our right side of the attack, so that teams know there ain't going to be much threat that side, so we don't have to worry about it. Tosin Adarabioyo and Levi Colwill in the back line, honestly thought they did okay, conceding 2 against a little club like Ipswich, never great, but I didn't think they did anything particularly bad. Cucurella on a 6.9, not his best game, but I wouldn't say his worst either. Enzo Fernandez on a 7.5 and Caicedo on a 7.7. Again, thought they did quite well. I feel like they did their part of breaking up the play, getting the ball forward, making us, giving our attackers chances. It's just that those attackers didn't take the chances. Madueke 6.7, for a guy that, from what we're hearing, was left out because in the previous games because attitude, the application in training isn't there. To have your chance to play and, drop a bit of a stinker, or not really much threat from him at all, doesn't bode well for him and his, career at Chelsea. Palmer on a 7.4. I thought it was a bit generous. The thing is this, he hits the post with that free kick with Enzo Fernandez. Then Nkunku then has the chance. We'll get onto him in a minute. It's fine margins. Palmer had 2 or 3 moments that you think, okay, he's, this is going to go in the back of the net, and it's just off. Joao Felix on a 7.2. I think that's incredibly generous. Such a wasteful player in and around the box. Not even necessarily there, like playing a bit deeper and trying to get passes forward. They're going out for goal kicks, and he's a polarizing player and really frustrated me today. And then Nkunku on a 6.5. That is generous, and Nkunku, the people who support him big time are gonna tell you he's our top goal scorer. You can't shout rubbish about him. He's so good at Leipzig. He's so good when he plays in the Conference League. It's like, there might be a reason for that, And Nkunku, when he's played in the Premier League, not too bad off the bench, can pop up with a chance or two, but starting, having extended minutes, pressing from the front, it's just non-existent. There just really isn't enough of it, and I think that rating, if anything, is generous, a 6.5. We could get onto the subs, but it was, Pedro Neto, Gusto, Sancho, and Jackson. None of them really had much of an impact. I quite enjoyed seeing some of the early subs. Jackson for Felix in the 55th minute, Sancho for Nkunku in the 65th, and then 2 in the 77th. I actually thought they were pretty good subs. Should have given us a bit more solidity at the back with Gusto coming on, as well as more attacking threat and switching out the attacking players. But ultimately, nothing would go for us. The referee, obviously, it happens at these sorts of stadiums. The referee gets conned big time by the crowd who, by their own right, they should, are going to scream at every challenge, at every 50-50. They're going to go, oh, ref, that's a red card. When obviously, it was a free kick for Chelsea or something like that. It's their right to do it, but the ref needs to be smarter than that, because he is just getting conned left, right, and centre. And it was so frustrating to see. I think that played into it, partially, but you can never put the blame fully on that, because Chelsea have got a far better squad than Ipswich, and today got outplayed. So where do we go from here? Let's go and look at our next fixtures, because our form has gone from 10 wins on the bounce, something about there, to now drawing against Everton, losing Fulham, losing to Ipswich. So, whilst it's not disaster, it really isn't, good reading. We're away at Crystal Palace next on the 4th. That's an iffy one. Crystal Palace are a good team in good form, and going away, never easy. And then we go to in the FA Cup against Morecambe, and then Bournemouth, Wolves, Man City. But really, just looking ahead to those next 2, or maybe in the 3 games, Palace, an iffy away day, Morecambe in the Cup, we really should be winning that one, and then Bournemouth at home, another team that you think, if they can nick an early goal, you never know what's capable with these kinds of teams. So really, if we want to put an end to this rot, it needs to happen against Palace, then build a bit of confidence against Morecambe, and then, start another run against Bournemouth, Wolves, Man City, these next few teams that we're coming up against. Because looking at the table now, pretty much every team has played all 19 games, bar Liverpool, Brentford. So you're looking at the table. We are now down to 4th position, which, beginning of the season, being around 4th, I would have taken, to be fair. 35 points. We got Arsenal above us on 36, but they got a game to play. Forest above us, same games played, 2 points ahead of us. Team that we really should be ahead of. And then, of course, Liverpool leading the way at the moment. You really think, looking behind us, Newcastle, good win against Manchester United, 32 points. Man City, a team that we know at any point could come back to life and go on an absolute tear of games and win 15 in a row, 31 points. So if we were to lose another 1 or 2 games, we're really then looking at okay, top 4 is now a battle. At the moment, we could keep our steam, keep a nice buffer to the teams behind us. If we don't, and we start losing games, keep drawing games, then there's a serious chance that we fall out of this top 4 and start looking at, okay, maybe we can make Europa League this year. And that's just not where we want to be. If we've got the chance to push on into this Champions League, we definitely should be doing so. And it needs to happen. Crystal Palace away on the 4th. That is a big, big fixture for us now, because if we let this rot go on further, you never know how this season could go. We've had a few bad seasons in a row now. it's time to put an end to it and really move past this whole up and down, young squad, building a new team, new manager needs to be put to bed. We need to be a team that is in the Champions League consistently winning trophies. So this team has a lot of pressure on them now, and it's their own fault. They can't say that it's put on them by the media or by the fans. They're the ones that haven't performed against Everton, Fulham, and who did we just play? Ipswich. They're the ones that haven't beat them, so they're the ones putting pressure on themselves now. So the players have a lot of work to do. Enzo Maresca has a lot of work to do. I'm intrigued to see whether he'll switch up the squad again, go back to what has been working for us with Pedro Neto, Jadon Sancho, Jackson up top. Who knows? We'll see what's to come, but Crystal Palace away, the next game, has to be a win. See you guys on the next one. Very disappointing loss today. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you then. Goodbye.